We got an awesome show here today. Women in Flame. This is going to be amazing. Hello and welcome to everybody. How are you guys doing? It's a great Sunday. Got a lot of great ladies here today. This is going to be great. For today, you have any Q&A questions, you can go ahead and put them in the Q&A panel. Go ahead and type them out right in there. Yes, good call. Jeff, how are the levels? You doing good? You gonna get a dissolve? The levels doing good? I hope so. Levels doing good here. Got lots of cool people going on today. Ooh, getting nervous. This is exciting. Lots of good stories we're going to share. And we're about to get started. Hello, here we go. Logic Live number 92. This is Woman in Flame. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to Logic Live. My name is Amanda Elliott. So let's start the slides. Well,
all right, Amanda, I've made the first technical mistake of the day.
There it is. We knew it was going to happen.
I've absolved all of you from making any technical mistakes. I have to re-enable the chat. So let me start you off with the slides and I'll get the chat going. And Randy will never let me live this down, but that's okay.
It's okay. It's going to happen.
Here we go. Here go the slides.
Oh, here we go. That's a good start. I like it. At least levels are good though. Get Women in Flame, episode 92. This episode of Logic Live is brought to you by AJA. They make the best video hardware in the business and have been an essential part of Flame since 2006. For more information about their pro video solutions, check out aja.com. And a huge Logic welcome to our newest sponsor, Hotspring. The future of VFX outsourcing. Hotspring connects you to great artists to get your projects done, making it easier than ever to access the best talent in the world. Check them out at thehotspring.com. So you need tech support? Of course you do. You can call Jack Horrocks. It's jack@flametech.com. He's there for all your Flame networking, storage, and custom build needs. So if you're in the market for any of Boris FX plugins, please use the Logic discount code and save yourself 15% on any of their products, standalone or subscription, when you use the code Logic-15 at checkout. And while you're at it, check out the Logic merch store. Look your best while you make your best. You can get all this at logic.tv. Click the merch button up at the top. And a big shout out, we want to thank all of our patrons on Patreon. We could not do what we do here at Logic without your support. The list keeps on growing. We're up to, oh man, that's a lot of people. Not going to read them out, but we got a lot of them going on here. And we want to thank each and every single of the 137 patrons that we have. Again, we cannot do what we do here without your support. If you'd like to support what we're doing here on Logic, get yourself some exclusive content like the Q&A after the show like we do with our guests, and also some merch. You can go to patreon.com/logic.tv and support what you're doing for as little as $5 a month. It's like a latte or something. So this past week, August 18th, we had the inaugural Detroit Flame user group. Awesome. Thanks to everyone who helped organize the event and to Flavor for hosting the event. Thanks to Synesys and also to Renee for the pictures. And thanks to everyone who showed up, as we all appreciate how important it is to do events like this one. And now, so for some foreign stats for 2022, this is Randy's favorite. What do we got for 2022? We got a lot going on here. We're up 19 users. This is great. 1,179. This is cool. I'm liking this. We've got plus 160,000 page views. This is cool. Plus 900 posts. I'm sure a chunk of those are probably from Randy. And then 415 users on Discord, plus 9. This is cool. Discord's cool. I'm also on there. And then at the Q&A after, we're going to be in Discord on Well. If you haven't joined the Discord chat, please do. It's another great space to have more of the Logik experience. We have real-time chat, screen sharing, and it's just a lot of fun to hang out with your fellow flame artists. You can sign up for free at forum.logik.tv and click on the Discord link. New classes for Logik Academy that released in 2022. The first one is called Beauty Techniques in Flame that Andy put together, where he talks about topics like blemish removal, cleaning up blotchy areas, red eye bags, texture, and color balancing, all under the umbrella of working as efficiently as possible. Machine Learning Time Warp, Randy gave us 2 new installments. We got one called Machine Learning Time Warp, where he goes into that wonderful gift that Andre Toloshi gave us to the community, the Machine Learning Time Warp tool. Randy goes over installing it on Mac and Linux and on different flavors of Linux, different GPU options, and walks you through all of the installation pitfalls, and then takes you through all the different features. Setting up PyBox. And also Randy did another one called Setting Up PyBox. PyBox is a feature in Flame that allows you to incorporate Flame into a pipeline. And Randy shows you how to hook Flame up into Nuke so you can have 2 apps working together. We have some new Logik Academy installments coming for you, either the end of this month or the beginning of next month. And these are the current offerings that we have right now: Connect to Conform, the image node, Intro to NDI, 8-minute aces, and then the ones I just mentioned a little bit earlier, all for free at Logik TV or youtube.com/Logik TV. And we also want to thank Autodesk for sponsoring Logik Academy. So the latest from the Flame Learning channel, let's see here. We want to give out a shout out to Grant K, as he has some great new content on the Flame Learning channel. The first are some videos to show off improvements in the animation editor in the 2023 release, and also updates to Python in the 2023 release. Thank you very much, Grant, for all your hard work and what you do to get this information out to the Flame community. Check out youtube.com/user/flame how-tos, or just search for the Flame Learning channel. And if you haven't already upgraded to 2023.1, please do. It's got some important fixes. And if you want to stay current and have access to the best tools, head on over to autodesk.com to download 2023.1. This is so cool. So we've got a really good show that we have for you today. We've got Women in Flame. We have lots of wonderful ladies here to show off some of their talents, talk about their talents, talk about, I don't know, we're just going to have a good time talking about this. But first, actually, Renee, I want to ask you, how was the Detroit Flame user group? It just happened last week, though. So you shared some photos that was on the forum. So tell us a little bit about it. How was it?
Oh, it was so much fun. It was really great seeing everybody in person. And I also need to give a shout out to Steve Sweek, who helped me organize it. We had huge rally from the troops. I mean, Brooks did a demo, good for him, kicking it off cold turkey to a cold crowd. He did a great job. We had color talk from Finn. We had presentations about Python scripting. It was really great to just kind of see everybody in person, and we even ended up with a little pub crawl at the end, getting to know the local area. So it was super fun.
Nice, nice. And Detroit's actually my old stomping grounds too, so I was really happy to be there. Sorry I couldn't make it there, of course, on a job, but I'm glad that it happened. Maybe for next time we'll try it. So I want to introduce each and every single one of you. From LA, we got MB, Colleen, Graziella, and Sarah. Renee from Detroit, who's also a 2021 Flame Award winner. From New York, we have Molly, Margolit, Ariana, Violet, maybe Ariana. She was Violet in the tech check yesterday. PB and Kenzi. And then also we have Miriam from London. Thank you so much, guys, for showing up today. I really appreciate you guys bringing in the time on a Sunday. So thank you all for coming here. So one of the big reasons why I wanted to get you guys together is that there's this film on YouTube. It's called Perspective. It's a female flame artist. It's from 2015. It's posted on the New York Flame user group. It's about 5 minutes long, and I think it's actually a really beautiful film. If anyone wants to check it out, please check it out. We'll put the link in the chat. It's featuring Amanda Amalfi, PB, Philana Diaz, Mindy Dublin, Suzanne Dyer, and Ann Troutman. So check it out. It's really cool. It's very inspirational. I love what you guys can do. I actually look up on every single one of you, done a little bit of stalking on each one of you. One of the things I want to highlight is we're all really good at something. Everyone has a really good talent. So I actually would like to bring that out in all of you. And actually, Miriam, I'd like to start with you. Thanks again. I know you're all the way in London. I really appreciate it with the time difference. I think it's dinner time. But I want to start with you and just talk about what's something that's really special that you feel like you bring to the table. Is it like, why do producers pick you, or why do directors pick you, or the host, if you're, even for anybody, if you're freelance or staff, what is it that you really bring to the table that you're really proud of? And I really want to spark upon that. So Miriam, if you could chat a little bit about that.
Hi everyone. It's not that late in London. It's 7 p.m. It's okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I ask myself that question all the time because I'm usually the youngest person in the room. So obviously I do not have the technical advantage. And this is the first time in my career that I'm being invited to places, which is amazing. It's a great feeling, and you know, I'm really happy to work with friends and some great artists in London. I think, you know, it's more to do with personality than the actual you know, technical side for me at this stage. You know, staying calm in a situation, being able to talk to clients, you know, when they sit down on the sofa, just like make them, you know, happy and make sure that they're chill and just let them know that everything is in control, and, you know, like hanging out with colleagues, going to the pub, that sort of stuff. And in terms of learning things, it's more about, you know, listening and picking things up and, you know, keeping up the pace with the others. Like for me as a junior flame, I feel like that's what most people are looking for.
No, that's really good. And actually, let's kind of turn that over to like MB. No secret, you've been doing this for a little bit longer. So
Tiny bit.
and I've worked with you on a couple jobs. You obviously also have a great skill set though too. So what's something that you feel that is your biggest strength that you like to bring to Flame?
Oh wow. I think the biggest strength is there's a trust. I build relationships and they trust that I'll get the job done. They'll trust if I run into a corner, I'll tell them. I won't promise something that can't be done. As far as on the box things, it started with clients in the room, same thing. I'm really good with clients in the room, mainly because I bring
That's right.
But no, it really does come down to personality, trust. Are you easy to play with? You know, are you going to be high maintenance? No, they're not going to call me back. And then it's building relationships. I mean, a lot of times people will call me because someone else referred me. And that's because you build those relationships, you show people that you can do the work and that you will show up and be a team player. My biggest strength as a personal side has always been mentoring. I've always loved working with younger people. I used to love it when we had assistants, when they really were your assistant. You could train them. Some of my assistants now hire me and they're way above me at this point,
Cool.
which is just the most fulfilling part of it. So, and actually seeing all you women here, when I started, these faces weren't not around me. So this has been awesome.
Oh, this is so cool. And thank you for that. And I know you're in LA. Let's hop on over to New York. So I want to hop over to PB and then Graziella. I kind of want to ask you guys that same question. What do you feel is that like, you're like, yeah, this is my thing. And this is what I like to bring to the table.
I got nothing. I have no idea.
You have everything, girl.
No,
You got everything going on.
I ask myself this same question every day. I feel like everybody else's books are like, all right, we'll bring this one in. I don't actually know, to be honest. I feel like it is just relationships. And like, no matter what, I will like finish something and I'm committed to making sure that it looks the best, even if I'm up until like 2 a.m. or get up really early or something. Like no matter what, I feel like there's a level of trust for the most part.
Yeah, trust is a really big thing though. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure about that. And you know what, I honestly want to touch upon that a little bit too, though, is that every once in a while, I feel it's like, what's that term we call it? It's called like imposter syndrome. Like we kind of feel like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just that feeling of just like, I don't know, is it like you're not good enough or you just don't know if you can handle or something like that though? I still get that all the time. And I know a lot of people do there too, but it's like, we all have certain types of strengths, or it's like, we wouldn't be where we were at. So it's like, we almost have to kind of remind ourselves in a way of that.
I have like the worst case of imposter syndrome. And I do try to talk to like everyone that I can about it, because I almost feel like as I get older or have been doing this for longer, like it gets worse. Like you would think that I would get better with it. But I feel like every time that I take a job, it's like, okay, this is going to be it. No one's ever going to call me back. And I don't know if you guys who've been doing this for a long time, like if you feel the same, if it gets worse or at some point it's going to get better. But I feel like someone's going to be like, oh my God, she does suck. Why do we keep bringing her back? Like it's this huge fear of mine. I don't know where it comes from or why I have it so intensely. And I thought it was just me. And then I've spoken to other women and a lot of women have it. But I'm also realizing that men have it too. So it's just a really interesting thing that we
It
can.
happens. And
talk
just so you know,
about.
I did work on a job with you a little while ago. You were a great problem solver. So I'm just gonna let you know that right now.
Thanks,
So
Amanda.
Graziella, of course. Graziella, how do you feel? What's going on with you?
Well, I think that for me, it comes down to attitude and personality as well. When I started my career, that was the main thing. When I started as a flame assist 7 years ago, I was really worried about not having any experience in flame at all and not knowing the technical side of it. But you know, what most people look for is someone that is, you know, willing to learn and it's excited about it. And I think that that's mainly what I brought to the table. And I also have a background in more of like traditional art. I love painting. And
Nice.
so I love, you know, I have some understanding previously about color and all that sort of thing. So I think that that translated very well into flame and any sort of like art form. So yeah, that was definitely something that to this day I think that I can bring to the table, that for, you know, art, I guess, and excitement for it. I still love learning, and I also have a little bit of background in scripting and all that sort of thing. So I think that that kind of like, I've also scripted some of my own matchboxes, and you know, it's fun. It's fun to be able to do that in flame a bit as well. So
Wow, that's cool. So if you've done the match, are they available to other people, or is it just something that's kind of within your network? I'm excited.
It's super exciting when you script something that works and it's just like, oh my God.
New Evar, come on, weekend. I don't know if you guys remember Evar.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, this is great though.
Yeah, I tend to keep it to like the company I'm working for. I have never really shared it to the world, but maybe that's something that I can start doing. So yeah, it's been fun learning a little bit of GLSL, and I'm excited to get a bit more into Python, and it's just really cool. And I was born and raised in Venezuela, so I like to think that I also bring a little bit of like, you know, variety to the flame community.
This is great.
You're the only other
person
I know. I'm Venezuelan too, and you're the only other person.
Oh my God, I love
so
that.
Cool.
I love that.
Oh,
I thought I was the only one.
Wow. This is totally great. I'm really digging this. This is cool. So we got other from New York. We Margolit. I would love to hear a little bit, and then, you know, going out over to Molly. Like, tell me, blow my mind here. Like, tell me more about you guys.
Right now, I recently went staff at Method as a VFX supervisor here in New York. But yeah, I think kind of similar to Graziella, I also have like a more of a traditional art background. I studied like painting, but I also learned quite a bit of 3D as well. I used Maya, and
Wow.
I think, yeah, a lot of it too is like trust as well. Like you kind of build those relationships with producers, and, you know, proving that you've delivered and you can carry a job through and oversee it. I think those kind of relations, and then also even just with your clients, with your team, with people you work with, whether it's runners to EPs, I think bringing, you know, trust through it, showing you can execute, also just teaching, learning, not afraid to ask questions. I think those things really help kind of keep bringing people back.
That's totally cool. I really like that. Yeah. And then Molly, also Molly, in a little bit, I'd love to be able to show something that you worked on, and then show your flame and be able to show a shot though too, but we'll do that in a little bit. But yeah, let us know a little about you.
Yeah, I guess very similar to what everybody's already been saying. I think a big part for me was just noticing how obsessed I am with details. And I think that's always been in me, because I love those like I Spy games and Where's Waldo, and being able to pick things out from a huge image, just being able to see the little pieces of it. I think having an eagle eye is really valuable. It's something that I've been happy that I have for this work, because it's really necessary. It's hard to train yourself to see these little things that everybody can see on a big screen that you might not be able to see on your computer. And then, yeah, obviously I actually like amazed before I went freelance, people are like, it's really, you know, if you know the basics and you're excited about what you're doing and you have the I think I can attitude, people are going to hire you. And I was like, no, I have to know everything. I have to know how to code. I have to know like how to basically build flame from scratch. Like I was like, there's no way. And then when I went freelance, people were booking me and booking me again. And I think largely it was just the can-do attitude. So yeah,
that's really good. No, you guys all bring up
Positive.
some really good points, but I mean, trust is the major thing. And I feel like even just from like a biological perspective, when you meet someone within like 5-10 minutes, I feel like you know if you can really trust this person, which I think is really good. And then sorry, Kenzi, I didn't mean to kind of skip over on that one though too, but yeah, let's get the New York train rolling here. And Kenzi, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah,
and your wonderful pink hair.
Thanks. My pink hair, my pink couch, my pink art, all the stuff is pink. I think that, I mean, I started in Flame, it's been nearly a decade ago. And right now I work in both Nuke and Flame. So I've worked at houses before where they asked me to help integrate the Nuke and Flame pipeline a little better. So right now I'm staff over at Frame Store and I work it's about 50-50 Flame and Nuke, which is pretty nice. And like everyone, I think it's attitude, it's personality, it's coming in with with knowing that it's going to be done at the end of the day. And also communication. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little over communicative, but then I realize there's no such thing.
No such thing. Communication is always a good thing.
But that, and then a lot of I feel like I have a good eye. I wouldn't be in this field if I didn't have a good eye. And leading a team, that kind of stuff, that goes along with the positive attitude and the can-do attitude. Like if you're not positive, then I don't think you should run a team. But if you're a good, like if you have that good, attitude, make everyone want to work with you, then you make an amazing team lead and people can come to you and they can communicate to you. So I think that's really important. And I feel like most days I have that. We all have our days, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it goes back to just trust too, being able to trust doing that as well. And on the pink hair note, I think Renee did a podcast a while ago where she talked about, I think you got hired at what is it, ILM, because you had pink hair or something like that. They loved your hair. So if you guys get a chance,
that was my internship. I was afraid that I was not going to get hired because I had pink hair. But then it turns out that they actually liked the fact that I was being individual. So I'm like, all right, that was good to have that kind of feedback really early on to remember, be true to myself.
Pink hair
so that's
power.
Good. Yeah, it was really
Pink
good that you
power.
brought that up in your podcast too. If you guys get a chance, check out the podcast section and listen to hers. It was really good. And now I want to jump over to Sarah and then jump over to Colleen. Sarah and Colleen, you're both in Los Angeles as well. So Sarah, hi.
Hi. Yeah, I'm Sarah. I'm in LA. I currently work at the mill. I joined about a year ago, although I feel newer than that because I had a baby last year. So I'm also here for Moms in Flame. I think MB is as well. So it's nice not to be the only one. But yeah, I was freelance for a long time. So I worked really hard to be the kind of artist that you could kind of throw anything at, not by knowing everything, but just by saying like, I've done this other thing. Can I apply that here? And so I try really hard not to be shaken by something I don't know how to do. You can't know everything. There's just too much. So that's advice that I give a lot to not feel like you need to know everything because you just can't. But to feel confident in what you do know and how you can maybe turn that around and use it to solve any new thing that gets thrown at you.
Can I add one thing to that, Amanda? Just old
Absolutely.
dog tricks. Last week, I learned a brand new trick in Flame, and it was one of those where I went, okay, I'm not getting 3D, show me. And I learned 3D stabilization. So I've been on this box since the very beginning, and I still don't know the box, like if that makes sense. So to all of you who think you have to know everything, good luck, and let me know how that works for you, especially if you have children.
You really do make me feel a little bit better because I think I went through that same thing too when I was going off in like being an assistant and then moving up. I was like, how am I going to know what every node does? Like, how do you guys know what every node does? And then some people are like, we don't know what every node does. You just use certain ones over and over. I'm like,
I asked Renee. I just asked Renee.
And I call me. No, that's really important to know because I know there's a lot of people who think they have to know everything, and you never do. I'm always learning. That your ability to learn, I think, is a strength. Your ability to call on your community for help and know where to go to get help, and also to adapt. But yeah, I mean, you have to be able to let the client know that you know what's going on and then know how to fix it. So.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Colleen, just wanted to touch a little bit. I've actually worked with you recently too, which was really cool. And one of the things I really want to point out is first Colleen and MB, I'm pretty sure you're sisters from another life.
Yeah.
You guys are very similar just in like your really calm and pleasant demeanor to be around. But also I've checked out your batches too on both of yours, and you guys both have this very school, and I'm going to use quotes, old school way. But it's true. Sometimes those old school tricks actually work a little bit better. I've seen other batches where it's like a ton of crazy stuff and I have no idea what's going on. But then I've actually opened up your guys' one on job a while ago and was like, it's really that simple. So Colleen, like explain a little bit about like what you feel like your strength is.
I feel like my strength is a collaborator. I'm a people person, so I love what I do, but I don't take it so serious because I've started in the 80s, and to me, it's a piece of equipment and it's always changing. It's always grabbing my attention, but I like working with people, and I try to surround myself with people who know what they're talking about, trust that they can handle what I give them, and trust that the client and me, the director, the clients, that they can look at me and I've got the whole picture down. And I think, I think it's a matter of having a good personality, being nervous, not knowing everything, accepting that you don't know everything, sharing somebody does know what's going on in the other room. So making sure that that's clear. So I'm not a one-man show. I love working with everybody from the top to the bottom and training people. I started demoing and training years ago. So I love teaching people. I love working with people, and everybody's got their specialty. So for me, I feel like it's, maybe it's me coming from a really large family, but you get thrown into these situations and you learn on the fly. I mean, nothing I've done in this industry was literally by the book. Like I opened up a manual and did it. Not saying I didn't, but most of it's asking questions and realizing your strengths. And I'm kind of nervous, but strengths and demoing is definitely was one of the ways to, because you had to deal with everybody. Put a smile on.
Demoing's tough. You get
Yeah. And speaking of manual, back when Flame actually used to have a manual like this big, I think I somewhat remember that. And I was like, I gotta read that thing? Like, oh boy.
So I think it's a matter of just getting into it, and then like Renee was saying, asking the questions and seeking out the resources. And there's so many people in this industry who are so helpful that, the fact that MB and I never worked together, but we work almost the exact same way. It's, you got to get the job done at the end of the day.
Well, once she gets her pool done, it's party at her place. So that'll be good. And it's good that you guys all bring up some of the great values of like trust and communication and things like that, which I think is really important. And I came from an editorial background. I was an editorial for like, I don't know, 10 whatever years. So I know like a little bit of the producing side. I would go to like the color sessions, the online sessions. That's how I fell in love with Flame, is I'd sit at the online session right next to the artist and be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, so they got like sick of me. At Company 3, I think there was a few colorists there where they knew to pull up a chair because I would sit there with my like decision list and highlight, because they would put it in the D5 tape that send off to the online person. And when I got there, the online person's like, thanks for the notes. And there, and I was like, oh yeah, just so you know, your flat passes, and then the color passes are later on after that. And I wrote everything down. It was just having that open communication. I kind of want to go back to like, think about when you guys were maybe like assistant level or just starting out. What is something like a funny story or like a mess up, or I don't know, anything crazy? I'm going to start accidentally deleting the wrong project. Okay, this is a while ago. Anyone watching, if there's ever something comes up where it's like delete something, I check with the producer, I check with IT. I am so scarred from doing this, but this was a long time ago. Does anyone have any interesting stories or fun stories about when you were an assist or something that came up you'd like to share? Kenzi? Yes, please.
I do. I was working really late on a project when I worked at Method, and I had just kind of started as an assist within the past like 6 months, and I didn't realize that Action had its own batch. And so when I opened up the script, it was just like the plate and then an action, and then all this work had been done and I couldn't figure out how to open it. And I called my supervisor at like 4 a.m. And he wakes up and he's just like, hello. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't figure it out. And it was just really bad. He ended up telling me to go home and get some sleep. And we worked on it in the morning, but I just felt so dumb when he was just like, just double click here. And there it is, all the work done right there. But I didn't realize that I hadn't been told at that point that you could open up a batch in action.
Isn't that, it's amazing. It's so amazing. It's layers upon layers. There's things, yeah. And again, it goes back to like, we don't use all the nodes. There's some things that we don't know about. MB said we're constantly learning. Yeah, it's very funny. Does anyone else have any input? I feel like I have like 900 stories of this.
Oh yeah, I have.
Oh my gosh, Molly, yes, please.
Yeah, I have to get this off my chest apparently. Never told anybody that. No, just kidding. They still don't know. No. When I was first starting out, I was at Union, and so this is kind of when my can-do attitude a little bit got me in trouble, but I learned from it, where I was still assisting, and it was the night of our holiday party. It was like the Christmas holiday party. So everybody was like frantically trying to finish up so we could all go to our party. And we had a bunch of things. We had so many jobs at the same time. And we had this one job that needed to be conformed before the end of the night. And the lead flame artist was busy. So I was like, I'll do it. I got this. So I conform it, not realizing I conformed it in half res. So it was 960 by 540. And they needed it at HD that night. And so I sent it out to them. I get to the party, everybody's like cheering, like lifting me up and being like, you saved the day. And they're like so excited and proud of me. And then the next Monday, the clients were so upset. They're like, they couldn't like send anything out because it was all half res. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And like, it was I will never make that mistake again moment, but it was horrible. So just double checking.
These are the moments.
Forming the right resolution.
That we will never ever do that thing probably ever again. And then Ariana, did you have a funny story as well?
Yeah, nope.
Just to like make a point that, you know, when you're on nights, the way I learned was I was on the night crew at Quiet Man, and you have an hour with a senior artist, and then the rest of the night is just you and whatever poor soul happens to be with you on the shift with. And we both had started at the same time. So we were given the task of rotoing some stuff for, I think it was like a Monday Night Football spot. And I remember about like 12:30 at night, my hand slipped on the keyboard and I hit something, and all of a sudden all my masks disappeared. No one had told me where to find the hotkey preferences. So I was just sitting there like writing emails to people. I didn't want to wake someone up. So I was just like, well, I guess I'll just archive and basic some tapes then. And it turns out that I didn't know how to turn on my icons. So the whole night I just was like, sorry guys, I don't know. Sorry, you just paid me to sit around and make some blank tapes. But that was it. It was just
the longest time I didn't know to turn them off.
But yeah, that was it. Not as harrowing as Molly's experience, but still frustrating. I felt so inept and so useless. Like, you know, I just was so mad at myself that I couldn't figure it out. And so the next day they were like, there you go.
Yeah. Do you every once in a while, if you have to turn them on or off, you kind of do a little bit when you do that?
Every single day, every day. And actually like every day. Haunts me.
Oh man, was there another one? Was it Margolit? Was it someone else that had maybe like another fun story? Was that it? Oh no, I missed it. Okay, sorry.
I can tell you the early days of Flame if you guys
please do
along now. So I was customer 3 in buying Flame. It did not have a video card. So for the longest time, you just had to do a recorder on. They put the video card in, it didn't have 2 fields, it had 1 field. And when you complained about that, they're like, wow, you have 1. And you were also on a machine. Only a few of you will get this. You get a core dump. A core dump meant your whole machine died and you saw little dots for hours and you had to restart and load software. And I remember one time in session, because I was by myself, I was, wasn't an assist or anything. Flame was brand new. No one knew what it was. And I'm in a session and it just dies. And Unix, which was the operating system at the time, died too. And the clients never knew that I went in the back. I had to call, at the time it wasn't Discrete Logic, it was, or it wasn't Autodesk, it was Discrete Logic. And just trying to juggle all that with clients and not knowing anything, and no one technical knew it. So you didn't have groups like this to call even. And somehow I got everything loaded without the client ever knowing that the whole box just crapped out. Like everything was lost and you couldn't even run the operating system.
Was it just like a random thing and it did it whenever it wanted it? Or is like you had to start it?
Core dumps would be like if your system just restarted, it was a dump. It was like it just died and then you'd have to do all these, hoops to get it back up.
Is it like a VIC, like an old school VIC?
Yeah, so, well, it was even before that, but yes. And to this day, I still, Colleen, maybe you and Renee do too. There's certain times where it goes to do something and I kind of do double cross fingers or do all my little taboo things because it just brings up PTSD of like, okay. So when people complain now about how Flame can crash, I'm like, oh, please. Oh, please.
Yeah, you don't know it.
Yeah. Right. And you know what? And
I
was going to say, and B, you have a Logic Live number 53. You have a Stories of Old Flame where you talk about some interesting stuff in that one as well. If you guys get a chance, I just wanted to plug that real quick. So it's Logic Live number 53, Stories of Old Flame.
Stories of Old MB, I guess. But Colleen, knows she's done it all too, and so is Renee.
Yeah, and just the time it would take to render, and like you render something and they come back 2 hours later and you realize, oh, I forgot to turn that mat off. Oh my God, this is going to be an all-week session, just, yeah. People bring their books, people are sleeping, it's just, yeah. But when it crashes, it goes down really hard.
So we're making a new hashtag core dump. That's what's happening right now.
It's a thing.
So actually, I want to circle back around to Renee. As you guys know, 2021 Flame Award winner. Renee, let's go back to you for real quick. I just want to talk about some of like your strength. I've known you for a really long time. It's amazing. We've done Tai Chi together. Fantastic. You've got dogs cooking bread. You blow my mind. You're amazing. Talk a little bit about like some of your strengths. I know you do really good beauty. Yeah, let's hear a little bit from you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. I agree with every lady on here about what everybody has said so far. It's just completely true. And I love hearing, it's so funny because I thought about this before you asked it, and then I'm hearing everyone answer it. It has to do with trust. I'm enthusiastic, I'm detail oriented, and I'm confident. But I think at the end of the day, it's the fact that clients know that they can trust me to do the job. And I'm also really well connected. So there's really a good chance that I already know the producer or the team that I'm working with. Or I was referred by someone who knows me and they trust them. And that goes a long way because basically once you've done a job with someone, you have, they've seen what you can do. And then now you're building a network and you're building a trusted circle of people. And so whether it's the people you worked with and you showed them that you're a team player, or it's the producer that you gave them the relaxation that they're in good hands, you were good with the client, whatever it was, there's a pod and you build on that. And you just keep in touch with those people. And then it's asking for feedback, which I always do. I try to manage expectations so that I know what do you need and when do you need it by? That's the first thing I ask. What do you need and when do you need it by?
What are the deliverables?
So that I know well, not even that. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily that nitty gritty, but just try and start like in broad strokes so that you know where they're coming from. Because just like being in the room, which I think we all have been in a room with clients, you want to make them feel at ease as fast as possible. And the sooner and better you've got that handled, the less work it is to get your shots final. Because if you can very quickly make everybody feel like, oh, she's got this, then everything you put in front of them, it's smooth sailing. But if you guys have a bumpy start or a weird relationship, it's really hard to get stuff finalized. And it just kind of becomes antagonistic, or it can be. I don't find that as much the case with remote jobs as I do in person. Could have happened. But also just being able to be a problem solver, like I said earlier, seeking answers from the community, but you don't have the community unless you build it and maintain it. And so that's why this is super important. The Logic forums are super important. If you haven't gone on the forums, get on the forums and ask a question, and people are going to jump all over you and try to answer it, and then stick with it. be there, show up, be present, build your community.
Discord
because we're
too.
all here, we
Yeah.
all want to help each other. Yeah, Discord too. So just, you know, build that network, and it builds the trust. If you're invisible, no one's going to know you, and then they can't throw you work, and then you can't get work, and then it's really hard to keep going. So build your community and stick with it.
Yeah, and just like actually Jeff Kyle is just saying great advice. After Rocky starts, a lot of second guessing everything, and that's totally true too. And just going back to what you said about the forums have actually taken a complete flip over the past few years, which have been really cool. Lots of new people, lots of new questions. I remember the forums, I think maybe from like 8 years ago, I didn't know how to like do a G mask from like the exact center middle G mask perfect circle. So I asked a question, and like I said, this was 8 years ago when it was like on Facebook, and it was just kind of a mishmash or whatever. And someone said, tie a piece of string to your stylus. And I was like, this is a serious question.
That's a good point, because, you know, and not to go totally old school, but way back when it was in email, I wasn't involved in the forums because I felt like it was all a boys club, and I didn't want to sound like an idiot. And you probably would have sounded like an idiot if you asked a question.
I think it just wasn't
like,
taken more seriously
it
too.
wasn't taken seriously.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, I agree. This is not Facebook. And I think Facebook specifically has this vibe that everybody knows. It's a vibe. It's not the Facebook, it's not the Logik community. I think it was the platform. And so whether taking it off Facebook made the change, or maybe it's because, you know, shit rolls downhill and we've got a couple of good leaders that are like in charge of the forums, and we have a lot of people who are, you know, positive in this environment, this community. Everybody's been so supportive and helpful, and just not and really. And if they do give you a hard time, it's good fun. It's
definitely gotten a facelift, which I'm really happy about. And that's why I'm really happy to be more and more involved with it though too, is not only do I want to represent the women like what we're doing right now, but I just want to represent like younger artists, and then people asking dumb questions. Like I say dumb stuff all the time. And so sometimes when I post something now, I see someone else post like, can someone show me how to like do a time warp? I don't know where it is. And people honestly answer. And I just think the forum is such a great place to be able to do that, and Discord. And so just the way that like Andy and Randy, and then, you know, Jeff is also contributing to like Discord as well. It's taken a total great facelift, and like I'm actually really happy to be helping out with it too. And I hope all of you guys have had a really good time being able to check out the forum and join Discord and do that as well. That's good.
I just have to say also, with the dumb question, or I have a stupid question, I really tried not to like think that way. And I definitely tell, especially women in this industry, it's like, don't go there, because it's not any question you have to ask is relevant.
Ask any question.
Something
Absolutely.
You need to know. And I think it's really important
that's really
that it doesn't start out
as. I'll remember.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you
have we have to all remember that we didn't all start at the same time. There's always new people, and taking Tai Chi classes reminded me that it's, even when we have been doing it a long time, there's the whole today I learned thing. So, you know, you can be doing it for 25 years and you still are learning new stuff. And then there's the new person who's new. You can't scare people away from learning, because that's all we are, is we're constantly learning. And plus the fact that the software is always changing. So trying to keep up with all of the upgrades, we're always learning.
But the forum is just amazing. There's things I post on there that there's so many like questions answered, but like it's taken such a great facelift, and I'm just so happy that it's gotten to where it is now. And the Discord has been a great place for that though too. So I'm really happy. And guys watching though too, if you guys get a chance, sign up for the forum, sign up for Discord, please get on there. There's no dumb questions whatsoever. I don't care who you are, ask away, because I ask away questions all the time. So anyway, let's flip on over. I want to go to Molly real quick though. So Molly, you actually worked on something really interesting that you wanted to share with us. There's a little clip you want to show, and then show us your flame. Show us how you worked on a shot.
Yeah. So how long of a clip should I show for the film?
Yeah, you can maybe do like 10, 20 seconds, maybe around the shot that you worked on. You want to show us?
20 seconds. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
sure. So this year was really exciting because a goal of mine when I started Flame was to eventually go freelance and then spend a good chunk of the year making my own films using visual effects. So this year I finally got to do that. And I'll show you a little piece of that film, and then I can send you guys a link somewhere. So if you want to see the whole thing, you can.
Perfect.
So yeah, let me share my screen.
Was your tablet working out this time and everything working out with Zoom this time?
Yeah, I think so.
Great.
I'm using the mouse just in case, because yeah, here we go. Okay, let's see. Can you see that so far? A black screen. Okay. So I'll start here. Oh, and actually, one moment. Okay, here we go. All right. Here's a little section of it.
Actually, Molly, so it looked like it was stuttering for some people, and I think I got, and then it went to black for a little bit. So I'm not sure if we were able to actually see.
I just, okay. Yeah, no worries. I think it's harder now that there's bunches of people on. So I can just show you that shot in Flame, and then I can send everybody a link.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah,
actually.
I'm guessing because there's nothing else that's different. So, okay, perfect. And I could, here, wait. Could try one more time if I quit. Well, no, it's okay. I'll just show you through here. All right, let's do this.
I see a flame.
Woo!
Nice.
Let's see if I'll be able to do this at the same time. It's pretty slow now.
In the meantime, when you get a chance to look in that for a second, I just want to ask real quick, Graziella, what kind of shaders and Python scripts have you written?
Well,
if you want to share now, it's totally okay. Or if you know, you can share at a later date. But yeah, please let us know anything if you'd like.
Yeah, for sure. I just most recently did one that matches the color of different plates, which is just a way that I learned to do before at a company I worked for called Lola. And I thought that was very cool. And I just wanted to have that in just one node. So I scripted it in GLSL for Matchbox, and it's been very useful. Definitely.
That's amazing. That's really cool. Okay. I like that. How you doing, Molly? Is everything going okay on your end? Oh,
good, just slow. Okay, great. So it's slow, but I will talk you guys through this. Okay, so the whole concept of this film is like I'm using visual effects to show kind of a toxic relationship through colors. And literally this woman downloads an app called Send Me a Color, and this anonymous man keeps asking for more and more of her colors that are in her apartment, until finally she has no colors left in her apartment, kind of like a modern day take on the Giving Tree. Cool. So I had this idea like rolling around in my head over quarantine, and then I made it, I filmed it in January, and then I finished it in May. So I was trying to figure out, and what I've learned when I'm doing something that's more creative and less technical, like, oh, replace this label or get rid of the boom in the back or whatever. It becomes more like painting on canvas, because my nodes are kind of piling on top of each other until it creates this image that's similar to what I imagined. So here I can show you. So that's why I tried to organize this for you, but it's this is kind of just how my brain went. So I was like, okay, I need more glow. Sorry, this is very slow, and I think it's just because I'm
no
sharing.
Worries. Actually, Molly, for 1 second, I'm just going to ask if everyone can just turn off their video just for 1 second. We're going to see if we can try to give Molly a little bit more bandwidth. And then maybe Molly, if you can disable your video too, maybe that could help speed up things on your end for just your just your Zoom video. I think your screen share should probably still work.
Okay, let's see, where are my little...
So far, so good, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already better. Perfect. It's already better, actually. Yeah. So go ahead and keep going.
Okay, cool.
Sweet.
Okay, so here, I'll just show you before and after. So this is when she starts going around her apartment and sucking up colors, and the app has like lasers coming out to take the color out of something. So here she is sucking up the color from her towel to send to him.
Cool.
And so I just had like these, first I had a glow underneath. Then I put the laser beams on top.
Look at that nice.
Then I'm removing. Thank you. It's for you guys. And unfortunately, this is very slow, but I was going to show you this node is slowly sucking the color out of the towel. Okay, just taking the saturation out.
What is it that you're using? Like, what is it like if you zoom in a little bit on the batch, like what are the nodes that you're using? If you can a little bit.
So this is just color. Actually, the first several are just color correct for making the glows, and then making the blue laser, and then just pumping my mattes for each into it. Then this one is me removing the color, so taking the saturation down. And then, yeah, several of these are just color correct nodes, nothing crazy, until I finally kind of got the look I was going for. And then I got this little croc pixel guy here. Croc FBM pixels, because I wanted some texture to make it look kind of techy as it's sucking up the colors. So you see like some noise there. And then just to make it this blue glow, just to make it extra blue around it. And then, oh yeah, that's just the blue of the lasers coming out of the phone.
Oh, that's cool. I see how you got that all set up. That's neat.
Yeah, I would love to play it down for you guys. I wonder if there's a way I can do this. Here, let me, now that our cameras are off, let me stop screen share for 1 second, then try that one more time, going through here. See if I can just scroll through that section so you can see it.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, we'll probably have another minute or so for that. And then I have one more really important question for you guys that I think would be really good to ask.
Okay, let's try this one more time. Share. Okay. Oh, cool. I can actually scrub through it now. Okay. Can you guys actually see it scrubbing?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So that's it. Here, let me move that. So that's like the concept of sucking the colors out. And then she runs around he wants more of her colors. So she runs around the apartment collecting more.
I see you've done some foam comps there too, I'm guessing.
Yes, lots of phone comps.
This is cool. This is a very fun concept.
Thank you. So here's a scene that, oh, here it comes. The scene that we were just talking about here. So I can just play this down. So yeah, I won't give away the ending. So I'll just, we'll see what, he asks her to send him her colors and we'll see if she ends up sending them or not. But
nice.
yeah. So yeah, so I just ended up, thank you. I ended up just using the same technique over and over and over again for sucking up the colors from every different object. And it was just like I was saying, it's kind of the same process of painting on canvas where I just kept putting more and more on top of it until it gave the effect that I wanted it to give. Nice. Yeah, and as the colors fill or get sucked up, they get filled up on the phone screen. I had a friend of mine, a graphics artist, Candy Sewen, she did the interface of the phone for me. So it was a very fun collaboration with people I used to work with back when I was staff.
Nice.
So yeah.
Well, that's
and
really
I can
cool.
totally, yeah. Thanks for seeing it. Sorry, it was a little difficult to show you guys, but I'd love to send a link out if you want to see the whole thing.
No, that's cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for screen sharing that. I really appreciate it. Just because it's 11:57, I want to take it a little bit more serious note. I actually have a really good question for all of you guys. This is something that happened maybe to me like a year ago. And the thing is that I had told the company that I was working at, maybe like a year and a half ago, I told the company I was working with, hey, I've got something really important I need to do. I'm out by Friday at 6 o'clock. And I feel like all of you guys have probably been in the situation. And then, 3 days before, hey, just, Friday, I'm leaving at 6. Friday, just, I'm leaving at the end of the day. And then boom, 5 o'clock Friday, clients have all these changes. And then I'm like, hey, just so you guys know, I have to leave at 6. And it's kind of like this, but we need to make the changes, but we can't abandon our client, but we need to fix this. It's like, I didn't know what to do in that situation. And every once in a while, I still feel like maybe, I don't know what it is. Maybe it goes back to the imposter syndrome or something like that. But have you guys ever been in that kind of situation where it's like you've mentioned you want to have the work-life balance, you have these things that you love to do, you want to be there for your client, obviously you're there to do a job, you want to get it done, but at the same time I feel like it's a scheduling kind of thing. Like, how do you deal with something like that? I don't know if anyone's ever had any of that kind of experience before, and how do you deal with it?
Sorry, I think it's a really good
cool.
example. So like I had massive struggle before, like I said, always being the youngest person in the room. A lot of times just things get dumped onto me, like, can you finish this shot or make sure the archiving's done, like, after everybody's gone home. And what, work from home changed for me. Then I can just go, guys, I really need to, leave work at 6 o'clock because I have to meet a friend or I have to be somewhere. But I'm happy to pick it up like early in the morning, or I can finish it off from home. And everyone goes, okay, yeah, that's cool. Unless you have clients in the room, which is, different situation. Yeah. But I can get away with a lot more than a few years ago.
I see. But what do you do in that situation? And yeah, and Ariana, I do want to come back to you too. Like, what do you do in that situation where they don't say, okay, it's not, they kind of, it's almost like a guilt trip or a, you know what I mean? Where it's like, well, don't abandon. And it's like, well, no, I had this in the schedule. Like, how, Ariana, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, so I used to be a lead for about 5 years. And honestly, the biggest difference when it comes to situations like that, when you have a pushy client, is that you have the support from ownership, you have the support from production, and you have people interdepartmentally helping you problem solve. So whether it's like, okay, if we don't have a flame artist, like what can we do? Like what can After Effects do? What can even like get a simple cleanup, get a Premiere assist to get a little cleanup done that they can do, like whatever, all hands on deck. And there are a lot of companies that I've worked with that have that kind of, we're not going to leave one person working until midnight or forcing them to give up on their stuff. Everybody's going to pitch in an hour or two and whatever. So like even if it means like texting all of my freelance friends and saying, who's available to help me out tonight? Like, I really need this favor. And, or saying to the client, like, all right, you do that final, test of whether it's really a fire. You go, well, there's a rush fee. How badly do you need this? And then you can gauge whether it's a real fire or not. So that's why I think collaborating with ownership and other departments is a really important relationship to establish for such situations when like you need help because you can't physically do it.
Also important to verbally communicate with everyone you're working with, especially your producers, to have a backup plan. That's why I always try to have at least 1 or 2 or 3 artists who can step in, but it's also emotionally not taking it personally because there's always a fire at the end of the day. It's like when people say, are you worried about getting work in the future? It's like, no, there's always work out there, but you have to be able to communicate and stand tall with what your decision is and not take it and go to your engagement and feel that weight of it all day. You have to be able to, and it's hard to do. You don't want to let anybody down. You want everybody to be happy at the end of the day, you want the job done, but it's also, as soon as you can kind of also sense the shit's gonna hit the fan, and they're gonna wait till Friday at 5 o'clock. It's inevitable. So I always try to at least have an assist or let them know to get somebody as early as possible because I am taking this time. So, you have to trust the people you're working with to take that seriously. I mean, sometimes it's hard being freelance and you're kind of in that position and that's what's given to you. But at the end of the day, you still got to put the pen down and take care of yourself.
For sure. Even in this instant, a long time ago, I gave him 3 weeks. Notice, and then 3 days, and then day of, and I still was just like, what am I doing wrong here? But this is a long time ago, so yeah. For sure.
But it's not you. That's what I'm saying. People should have, and what's important is being a lead is to let the people know your situation as soon as you can, and to it is what it is.
Yeah, it's like what Colleen said. Like day of, I always tell my producer or ask my producer, like, hey, like, when shit hits the fan, who's taking over for me tonight? Who do you have in line? That's like really important to communicate to your producer. Like if I have to leave at 5 or 6 for whatever it is, who's taking over? Who do I, overlap with for an hour to make sure that they aren't gonna go in blind?
Oh, good call. Yeah, bring it up. Like who can I talk with, the last half an hour to overlap?
Yeah.
That's good advice.
Yeah, I feel like those weekly strategy meetings when you talk about scheduling, like, let's say hypothetically on a Monday or a Friday for the week ahead, it's so important to bring up like plan Bs and Cs, like you guys said.
Good call. Does anyone else have any good stories? Oh, Renee, please.
I've got too many, but I just want to keep it really simple instead of specifics. I want to say one, if you need to leave, your personal life is personal, so don't ever share why you're leaving. You just say, I'm leaving Friday at 6 o'clock. Nobody gets to know why, because your priority is different than anyone else's priority. And so they're going to put their priority on your priority, and that's none of their business. So don't ever share why you're leaving. You just say, I'm leaving at 6 on Friday, just letting you know. And yes, give advance notice, all of that. Also, I don't make it, so this is different for staff people, and it's also different, for everybody, but I try not to make plans on a day that I know that I'm going to be delivering a job. Or if I know I'm going on to a job that's nuts balls, I'm not going to go make plans that week. And because I know I'm going to be staying late, or, I can't commit to anything. It's like everybody knows I'm working on a crazy job this week and I can't do anything after work. But sometimes if you're on a really extended job where things have just been going over for a long time, and you know that you're on a job that's, I hate to use the term abusive, but it's out there. So people are being abused with their hours and their time. So it's been going on for weeks or months, and you kind of have to have a minute to have yourself and your time. That's when you just have to talk to your producer and say, again, none of their business why, I'm taking Wednesday off at 2, or I need to leave for 3 hours, or whatever it is. You just tell them when it's coming and have them make a plan, put the onus on them. That is their job to cover you. You've let them know that you're not going to be there. So I love having everybody saying, make it they're the producer, you're not. What would they do if you got hit by a bus? Would their job
And
not
I
be
have
over?
to
Like,
I have to agree
that's
with
poor
Renee.
producing if they don't have a backup.
Yeah, I
know?
agree too.
So,
Yeah.
But you're so right about not having to explain or justify why you need to take the time you need
Because
to
they
take.
put the priority on it. Yeah, how they do it.
Well,
Like I
it's-
play
you're
hockey
just
on
giving them-
Fridays and I need
It's
to
nobody's
leave to go to
business. Yeah.
games. Yeah, like I have
Yeah.
things I want to do. And as soon as I told my producers I have a hockey game on Friday, they're like, well, this person needs to leave so they can go first, but it's just a hockey game, right? And I'm like, no, it's my playoff game. Like I want to go.
And
But like
it's none of
yeah,
their
they
business why.
nobody's
Renee's
gonna make your
100%
life
right.
important. Yeah, nobody's gonna care about your life. Your life is the most important to you, and that is totally valid. But you can't like impress upon anybody else how important your life is to you, and you're the only one who's going to be good enough to be in charge of your boundaries. And so it doesn't have to be an argument, it just has to be a statement, and then you put it back on them and say, just letting you know so that you can get coverage or so that you can make a plan, but you just put it back in their lap and they have to make a plan to cover for you when you're not there. And then when you're, I've been in situations where like I had to get on a plane, and so I had to like put the pen down at 5 o'clock, and I like, they knew when they hired me at the beginning of the week that I had to leave on a plane on Friday. So whatever business I was getting into, I wasn't going to be given you're delivering the job, position, because they knew I was leaving. But they still were like reminded several times that I'm leaving at a certain time. So like, and then you just get up and you walk away. And I still was thanked for my help because it was more than nothing. Like the job was done. It was, what I was hired for to do got finished, and everybody was super happy. And I just was super glad that I had good boundaries because it could go off the rails really quickly. But you have to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, you have to. You make a lot of you all make really good points. You definitely have to be able to do that. I think it's something that maybe I'm still learning from time to time that I don't even realize. It's like, yeah, okay, 7, well, maybe like 7:30, or something. But it's like, no, you got to have like hard, fast rules. And thank you so much, everyone, for sharing that too. That's
one more thing I would add to Renee's point about, whose business is it for your reasons why. I was in a situation recently where I was leading a job, and one of my compositors came to me and said they needed to call out for the day, and went to explain it was a personal reason, and they went to explain why. And I stopped them and said, you don't have to tell me. It is, if you say you need the day, that is a good enough reason. And and I will work with the producer to figure out coverage. And that's the end of it. You're welcome to tell me on a personal level if you want to, but you do not have to. And that is something that I expect to receive. And it's something that I try to give as a lead. Because
that gives me goosebumps hearing that support. That's so good to hear.
So good. And this is for everyone. I mean, this isn't just women. This is like every single artist everywhere that does anything. Like this is great to hear, just for everyone's support. This is cool.
Or on the flip side of that, when they ask you, why do you need to leave? You just say it's personal.
Because I need to.
Yeah, because it's personal. I don't want to talk about it.
Because then they can.
You don't ever defend yourself.
Yeah,
the minute you feel like put in a defensive position, you don't need to explain your life to anybody. It is your business. It's not theirs. You don't need to be mad about it, but you just need to be like, it's my business. Yeah,
I will say that when I need to set boundaries because I have a child, I actually do give the reason, because I think there are so few mothers who do what we do. And so I take it really seriously that this has been infinitely easier for me because of all of the mothers who did this before I did. And I take it really seriously that I can increase visibility by being really honest that daycare closes at 5:30. So if you need a posting out at 6, I'm not your guy, and we need coverage, or they have to wait. It just is. And so, but that's a personal choice that I make. It's not, no one asks me to justify why.
I will say, Sarah, we've come a long way, but being back in the day when you're on site and you're the only woman in the place, flame artist wise, I was a single mom, and I had a nanny, so I could have covered, but I'm a mom, like this is my kid.
You want to spend time with your child.
I did my 12-hour, what they were doing in 20, I did in my 12, my long day, and I'd say I'm leaving. Oh, you breeder. Oh, you get off early. I was like, going to the second job, you're not going to make me feel guilty. And that was a really good lesson for me I was always pretty good at boundaries, but that one really was like, you're not going to make me feel guilty for going home to take care of a kid. what I'm finding, thank God, is there's a lot more fathers that want to go home. They're setting boundaries. And also with all this new world, now when a job starts, there's a lot more freelancers and you set your terms in contract. So before they hire me on a Friday, I will have to leave at 5. Do you still want to hire me? Because that's set in stone. So it's again with expectations and then it also weeds out what companies I want to work for or don't want to. We always have this, I'll never get work again. What about, I don't like their practices. So we did.
It goes both ways. It goes both ways.
It's so true.
I'm not going to
naturally weeds out the bad players.
Yeah. Really, you're worth it. And we get in this kind of, I'll never see work. Yeah. To Colleen's point, there's tons of work out there and you get to choose where you want to work, you know.
And
that's true. It does go both ways. Yeah.
I've recently, in the last number of years, stepped away from being the lead and conforming and mastering and all that stuff, because I know my schedule with 2 kids and all that I have to handle, that, you know, I'm a shots only person now. And I'm lucky I've been able to get to this point where I can pick and choose, but there have been companies that just treat you like crap or other people like crap. And I'm like, I don't want to work there. And I also, a lot of times I'll ask if I have to take on the big projects with lots of shots, I'll ask what the work is. Like, is it realistic? Because bidding today doesn't seem to exist like it used to. It's just bidding is on the fly. As we're in the suite, things are changing. I thought we had 2 hours. I thought we had 2 days to do that. Well, now they want to deliver at the end of the day. It's like, okay, you can't just change everything halfway through. But it
happens all the time. And just like Randy says, 2 weeks, 2 artists, or so. I think that's what Randy always says. Actually, I have a question from Brian Bailey. Have you seen studios change their attitude of you have to stay until this is done since COVID? He says in his area, it seems like everyone has reevaluated their life priorities and don't want to live for work.
I've seen it get a lot better, actually, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I feel like you can say what you need, because also HR is so much out there now, you know, with women especially being, you know, treated the way we were 20, 30 years ago. I was a prop that was being sold with the equipment, you know, it was that nasty. And, you know, you got to get the job done, smile and look pretty. But now it's just so much different that, you know, you can have people you can go to and have the conversation, or you can pull somebody who's being disrespectful to you or to somebody else out, and you can call them on it. I mean, I've always called people out, but now it's like, you're going to get in trouble if you keep talking or screaming at me like this. Like, it's not acceptable. So I feel like we have a bit more power in that realm of the industry to be able to stand up for ourselves and not feel bad about it. Like, I'm not going to be bullied into.
For sure. Yeah, you don't want to feel bad about the boundaries.
Yeah, I like my job. Yeah.
I feel like at the beginning of COVID, everyone was like, we all start working from home, and everyone was like, I'm not going to allow them to take advantage of the fact that I'm always on call. And so we all just collectively, but also independently, set these boundaries of 6 o'clock is the end of my day. And everyone's really stuck to it. And I'm so glad, because I remember being at home being like, oh my gosh, they're going to make me work until midnight every day for the rest of my life. Like,
right. It was like, can you check this real quick? And I'm like, it's 7 o'clock and we're finished at 6. What do you mean real quick? Like, even though I'm 5 feet away from my desk in my room, another room, I'm still off the clock. It's like, it's not real quick. It's, am I on the clock or off the clock? And I feel like a lot of that has changed. A lot in the Flame community, I feel, has changed too. There's a lot of more respect going around. There's a lot more talent. There's just a lot of things coming out of work, like Graziella, like the stuff that you were talking about earlier, like, that's so amazing. Like, that blows my mind. This is great. It's just respect all around for everyone that does this. It is almost 12:15 right now. I want to say thank you so much to all of you guys. Like, I look up to every single one of you. You guys are amazing. This is great. We have so much talent going on right here. But I got an idea. So to wrap up the show, we're going to give away a few prizes. Are we ready, Andy? Ready? So we're gonna cue the wheel. Yes. So we are giving away 2 prizes. We've got a snapback hat, which I'm gonna demo here. Got a hat, we got a shirt, and we're gonna click to spin the wheel. Go ahead. Cue the music. Is there music? I think we got music. We're shuffling. That's it. There it is. have a feeling that's supposed to say Joey, right? Is that Joey?
Joni.
I am never going to live that down, ever. Oh, batting 1,000 today.
Joey gets a hat. I'm wearing it right now. Not this hat specifically, but you will get a new one. It's cool. And then let's do one more time for t-shirt. David. Awesome. Oh, this is great. You guys have been so amazing.
Amanda, we got to do one more for the Boris Effects optics.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Thank you. Doing another one. Boris Effects optics. Oh, look at that. Okay. So I think we're good. We got the 3, right? We're good. Yeah. All right. This is going great. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for coming on here. This is so cool. You guys are amazing. So much talent going on here. I don't know. I'm pretty speechless. I'm a little emotional about this. This is great. Thank you so much for you guys coming out here. All right. So let's go to the rest of the slideshows. Yes. All right, friends, let's see here. Coming on Logic Live on September 4th, we have the Summer of Flame 22 with Jasmine Frenette, hosted by Andy Milkis. On Saturday, September 10th, we're having a look at Hot Spring, hosted by Andy Milkis. And also on Sunday, September 25th, Connect and Conform Workflow Updates with Brian Bailey, hosted by Jeff Kyle. Jeff Kyle, he's also in the last name as a first name club. Love that. If you didn't get a chance to check out the episode 88 Render Dome, the Conform Battle with Brian Bailey and Baron, I highly recommend that one as well. Jeff Kyle also does a lot of other really cool stuff, though. He's hosted an episode with Baron, and he went to a deep dive right after the Render Dome. So go ahead and check back in there and look at those. And especially one more thing, and if you're more interested in more Conform stuff, there's a Logic Live episode 47, Connect and Conform with Jeff Kyle, and he does a lot of videos also for the Logic Academy parts 1, 2, and 3. So check that out. Jeff's really good with Connect and Conform. So let's see here. If you haven't signed up for the forum, please do at forum.logic.tv. When you're there, you can sign up for Discord and join the conversations. Logic Live. This episode of Logic Live is going to join all the other episodes of Logic Live online later today. And also check out the podcast interview that Andy did with Brian Bailey, episode 27. You can get that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere else podcasts are available. We have over, let's see here, 1,450 subscribers. We got a lot of subscribers. Thank you guys. We haven't subscribed. If you haven't subscribed already on the YouTube channel, please, as Randy says, smash that like button, subscribe button. Logic Live patrons. So thank you so much to all our patrons on Patreon. If you'd like to support what we're doing at Logic for as little as $5 a month, you can become a patron by going over to patreon.com/LogicTV. Be sure to check out the merch shop. Lots of cool stuff going on there, as you can see. And if you're in need of tech support, which you all are, call Jack Horrocks, jack@flametech.com/AU. If you're in the market for anything from Boris Effects, be sure to use the Logic-15 discount code and save 15% at checkout. And again, thank you again to AJA. And we also like to thank our friends at Hot Spring. They're the future of VFX outsourcing. Check them out at thehotspring.com. So that's going to do it for today, folks. We're going to head over to the Logic Patrons Only Q&A session. Thank you very much for the wonderful women on the show today. You guys are amazing. I love you guys so much. You're all a huge inspiration. Great job, everybody.
Yes, guys.
Thank you so much, everyone in the Logic community. We will see you next time, and have a great week.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.